Last lecture was regarding attitude, its theories, and how the attitude is formed up. So it was regarding that, and in this particular lecture, we are going to extend that lecture further. I think I have already given you information, and if these are shorter, then we can be including the power and conflict management in itself as well. Okay. So first of all, in this lecture, we are going to study regarding group dynamics. Okay. And we shall be doing regarding all these things. And if time be there, then we can go with powers management and different types of powers as well. These are very interesting and very informative as well, and very important. So just going to move further, I have already given you information, nothing else is there. Okay. So just for one time, need your confirmation. Should I start my lecture? Am I completely audible to you? Can I start my lecture right now? All right. Thank you so much. Just going to share you my screen and going to tell you what is there for us in this specific lecture. And this is going to be just 1 second. I'm just opening it. Just give me a time for 1 second. I'm opening all the systems. All right. I hope you would have got the image or this slide sharing for what we have prepared in this lecture. And this is going to be regarding group dynamics. Group dynamics, and this is very important. Okay, group dynamics, and after that we shall be going towards the stress management, and if time be there, we can go with the power and conflict management as well. These are also the part of organization behavior or human resources management. And I must tell you, although their names cannot be specifically written in the syllabus of exam, but I must tell you, what we teach you, you are supposed to go through. Okay, all these things are interrelated. They just give one name and they mean everything. So that's why you can take the benefit of our experience. Whatever we teach you, you have to go through. All the notes shall be provided to you in the same way. So this is regarding group dynamics. What is group? Okay, so group, you all know. Okay, there had been group every time in your life. There had been groups. Okay, like in the school time, there was group of your friends. In college time, there was group of your friends. Even at the time of your job, there is groupism. Okay, there is groupism. Some are your best friends and some colleagues are not your good friends. They just don't like you, and that happens everywhere, and that has to happen because this is the human psychology and phenomena. Groupism there, when we study the group in the context of an organization, then this is the study of group dynamics. This is all about that. Okay, nothing else. So what is group dynamic? That deals with the attitude and behavior pattern of a group which is formed in the organization. Okay. So group dynamic concerns how groups are formed. So we have to understand in this lecture how the groups are formed, what is their structure, and which process are followed in their functioning. Only one topic is there, I think, then this will be over. Okay, group dynamics, the most important thing, how these are formed, what is the process or structure of that. So group dynamics, you would have understood by now when you are studying the attitude and the behavioral pattern of the group formed in the organization. This is group dynamics. So now we move further and see what is there for us. So there are some stages or process for the evaluation of a group, how the groups are made up. Okay, so there are some stages and these are very important. I must tell you, one by one I shall be telling some names of all the processes, and I shall be explaining how these are formed up, how the groups are formed up in the organization. The first stage is forming. This is the first stage in the life of a group. Okay, from here it starts. This is forming. This is first stage. Okay, from here it starts actually. This is the first stage in the life of a group concerned with the forming of a group. This stage is characterized by members seeking either work assignment like in formal group or other benefit like status, affiliation, power like in case of informal group. They just form the group in so that they can seek or they can work together. This is just formation of a group. This is the first stage in a life of a group dynamics. The second one is storming. Storming is characterized by formation of dyads and triads. So what is this? This is just deeper sharing of ideas. Okay, so maybe there is the group of 10 people in your circle. You are a group of 10 people, but all cannot be related or similar to you directly. Okay, you try to find only those people who are similar to you, with whom you can share a deeper sharing of yourself. Okay, this is known as storming. This is the second stage. The first was one was forming, then storming. In case of forming, there are number of people in the group. In case of storming, you try to find only those who share similar characteristics with you. Then there is norming. Okay, so in this stage, this is the third stage that is marked by serious concern about the task performance. Here you tries to seek out other members as well. When you try to include some of your friends as well in the present group, when you are very concerned about your work in a group, that kind of situation is known as norming. Okay, the dyads and triads begin to open up and seek out other members in the group. When you try to seek others as well to be the part of that specific group, efforts are made to establish various norms for a task performance. So that is regarding norming. First formation, storming, norming. The fourth one is performing. Here you actually start performing as a group. Okay, you feel part of a family. You feel part of that specific group. This is the stage of a fully functional group where members see themselves as a group and get involved in a task. Okay, they try to give their involvement. If there is the group of 10 people, then they join their hands to work together for their betterment, for their joint betterment. This is called performing. Okay, so formation, storming, norming, performing, and last one is adjourning. Okay, so here what happens? Here the group is adjourned, or this is disbanded, or this finishes up. In the case of temporary groups like project team tasks or any such group which have limited task as hand, also has a fifth stage. This is known as adjourning, or the group decides to disband. Everybody feels that now there is no need to work in a groupism. We can work everything alone. And this happens only in the case of a smaller task groups. Okay, otherwise there are 4 stages in the life of a group that finish up at performing only. Okay, you would have experienced that your school group is no longer a group now. Your college group is no longer a group now. When you did your first job, you made a group, and that group does not exist right now. So that has gone through the stage of adjourning. So that was the last stage in the life of the group. So we are studying group dynamics, and I have taught you regarding process or stages of life cycle of a group. Now there is time to learn some types of group. How many different types of groups are there? One by one I shall be telling you. All these are very easy to understand. The first one is command group. Okay, command group. The group which involves a supervisor and subordinates, so that the supervisor can command or order the subordinates, and the subordinates has to submit the work to the superior or the person. Okay, so this is called command group. In army there can be command group, okay, or in your college as well, there can be command group. Like you have formed some group, there are 10 students, and to one student you are assigning the responsibility of a monitor. Okay, he can command on your behalf to all the 9 persons in the group. That is command group. Then there is task group to whom specific tasks have been assigned, that you have to perform this duty within this week. These kind of groups are known as task groups. Then functional group, they perform some specific functions in the organization, like sales function, distribution function, operational function, marketing function. These functions are assigned to specific group of people, and these are known as functional groups. Then formal, informal groups, the groups which are formed on the basis of some rules, regulations, and policies. These are known as formal groups. And in case of formal groups, these are just grapevine groups, and they do not include any kind of specific rules, regulation, and policies. Then interest groups, okay, when you meet 10 people or any number, n number of people who are sharing the same interest as of yours, that kind of group is now known as interest group. Okay, you chose management, you chose commerce, you chose home science. So you would see that there are number of other students who have joined that particular stream because they were interested in the similar course. That kind of group shall be known as interest group. Then a friendship group, when you have the circle of your friends and you create groups in that, that is friendship group. And that is not informal only, that can be formal as well, which is created in the organization. Then a reference group who can give opinion regarding you, and it can be anything, like your family can behave as a reference group to you. Okay, or your friends can be your reference group, your teachers can be your reference group, because they can give some kind of opinion regarding you to other party. So these were some kind of groups which you have to go through and understand. Specifically, these have never been asked, but I thought that we should go through from these as well, and the process of group formation of groups as well. This is the reason why we have understood this specific topic. Now we move further. As I told you that I shall be teaching you regarding stress and its management. What is the stress and its management? This is just adaptive response to external situation. Adaptive means immediate or undecided or very sudden. When you immediately respond to any situation that results in physical, psychological, and behavioral deviations of yours, for yours or for any organizational participant, that is called stress. Okay, stress is when you are not able to think what to do in a specific situation, that is stress. Okay, when you are physically, psychologically, or behaviorally deviated, okay, there is complete kind of a diversion. You are deviated physically, psychologically, or behavior, and you are not able to understand how to respond in a consistent or a good manner to any external situation. That kind of situation is known as stress. Stress, you all know. Okay, in organizational context, this is the definition of a stress. Okay, so that you have understood. Now I think two things are there to learn in stress management, stress and management. First, I think the causes are there. The second, how to manage stress. So first of all, we shall be studying the causes of the stress. Okay, so these can be n number of causes there. These can be organizational causes, like your boss doesn't like you, or you are not able to work properly, or you are not able to survive in the working conditions, or you do not like your salary or emolument status. These kind of causes can be known as organizational causes to create stress for you. Then group level causes, sometimes you are a part of a group to whom there are certain people which you don't like. Okay, which you don't like, but they have more say than yours in the group decision makings. So in that situations, there is a group level causes for generating the stress for you. Then individual level causes, there can be number of individual level causes, like sometimes you are not able to understand how to work in a specific situation, or maybe you are taking more time than required, maybe you are not as efficient as the other employees of the organization, or it can also be that you are more efficient than others, but they are just feeling jealous, and they don't like you for that way. So that can also make a kind of stress, which is known as individual level stress. Then domestic level stress, sometimes your domestic level or domestic structure is not well and cordial enough, which is giving you freedom to work at your workplace. Okay, sometimes you have um, domestic violence or any kind of thing like that, which is creating a problem for your job. That is also non that is also one of the biggest reason for stress. Then there can be some other causes like friends, like family, like relatives, or these kind of causes to which you have a problem which you cannot share with anyone else, and that can also create the stress for you. So these were the basic reasons of how stress happens in the life of everyone. And now these can be categorized into two types. Okay, so first we have taught you regarding causes of stress, and secondly how these can be categorized and what are their types. Okay, there are only two types of stress. First is stress, second is distress. This is a positive kind of a stress and this is a negative kind of a stress. Okay, I'm going to tell you what these are about. The stress is healthy, positive, developmental stress. Okay, this is like work pressure. Okay, this is work pressure in a positive way, like in a way that you use your optimum level of capacity. When your supervisor tells you that till 3 p.m. Till 3 p.m. you have to take 5 lectures and you have to take tests as well. Okay, so that is your target, that is your goal. This is a positive kind of stress. This is known as stress. This may lead employee to new and better ways of doing the work. It denotes the presence of optimum level of stress in the individual. So researchers has tell that completely unavailability of a stress is also dangerous. So there must be a kind of a stress known as stress. So it should be there because this is very healthy, positive, and developmental. The next one is a distress. This is very negative and unhealthy when they have given you a lot of work which you are not able to understand how you shall manage in a given time frame of 5 hours. Then you just feeling stress. That kind of stress is distress. It denotes to presence of a high level of stress in individual, which affects performance and efficiency as well. So this is, I think, all about that. Now there are only two strategies by which you can reduce the stress, or you can manage the level of your stress, or you can convert the distress into stress. So what are these strategies? First are organizational level strategies like board of directors, the CEO, the managers, your supervisor. It is in their hands that they can initiate some kind of programs. They can initiate some kind of developmental trainings. They can initiate some kind of developmental recreational activities by which you reduce your stress, or you convert your distress into stress. So this is known as organizational level strategies. Then this is individual level strategies. He can hard work only this is the way. They can hard work more so that their efficiency is increased from the present level to the desired level, or it can be like they can may find the ways to for the betterment of their domesticity. Okay, or for they can just indulge with the relation of with their friends, their family, their relatives, husbands, wives, so they can indulge in kind of activities at individual levels which can reduce their stress to the maximum extent. So I think that was complete detail regarding what we have studied in this specific lecture. We studied regarding group dynamics, in which I taught you regarding how group is formed. There are 5 stages and what are different types of that. After that, I taught you regarding stress management. That was a separate topic in which was included in this specific lecture. I told you its causes and major types of stress and distress and how to manage these. There are only 2 strategies. I think that something more should be there, because that lecture has not been this much longer and topics are very easy to understand and to go through. So I'm going to include one or two topic more. I think these are very easy to understand. I shall tell you, and these are very informative, interesting, and important as well. The first is going to be the power and kind of power management. Okay, power management, power. Then we shall talk about the conflict management. Okay. So I am now going to talk about power, and then I shall tell you what are different types of powers. Okay. So Max Weber, which is known as authoritarian management, okay, which is whose name is attached with the authoritarian kind of management. Okay. So he has given the definition of a power. What is power? Your ability to influence anyone is power. Okay. I have ability. If I know, I genuinely believe that you are my regular student, and some of you, like you people, have joined even at the day of Saturday when everybody is busy with their family or with their job. Still, you are there. You are listening me. Okay. So this is also it's just it can be anything. Okay. It can be like your love for learning, or it can be any reason. Okay. And I have a specific kind of a power by which I know that what I shall tell you, you shall believe me completely, because you trust me. Okay. So that trust is also a kind of a power. Okay. Power simply means when you can influence the behavior of someone according to whatever you wish. That's power. So power is, as per the definition given by Max Weber, this is the probability that one actor within social relationship will be in a position to carry out his own despite, on will, or on, uh, you can, he is in a position to carry out his own will despite resistance, regardless on the basis of which on which the probability rests. So they are just saying that you can do as per your will. Okay, you can do as per your will if you have power, despite resistance by the other party, and other party is nowhere in a position to resist you even. Okay, you can do anything what you wish. If you ever get the time, just read the story of Adolf Hitler. More than 1 crore people died just because of that specific man. Okay, he had the kind of a power, kind of charismatic power. Okay, and he made that kind of a difference, and still this is widely known in the world. During the World War II, it's very interesting, I must tell you. Finally he had to commit, he had to die. Okay. So that was the power. So these kind of stories we can relate with our studies as well. So I know that you would be busy, but sometimes you must make the habit of reading as well, so that you get a lot of knowledge. So now I think you have got the definition of power. To a layman, power is just the power to influence somebody's behavior. I can influence your behavior. You can influence your family's behavior. You can influence your children's behavior. You have power over them. Now we have to understand its types, and I must tell you, these are very important and very easy and very informative as well. You shall get a lot of information from going through the types of powers. Who suggested that there were only 2 persons who have written a research paper who suggested the kinds of power. The first was French and Raven. They gave 5 sources of power on the basis of Azioni's powers typology. So they told you that there are 5 kinds of powers. Okay, the first power is legitimate power. This is a positional power, like power of a teacher. Teacher has a position in the classroom, so he has a power. This is known as a legitimate power. It's derived from position of a person holds in the organization. Like CEO has his own powers, board of directors has their own powers, superior has their own powers, foreman has their own powers. On the basis of position, you can have the power. When the power is based on the position, this is known as a legitimate power. The second one is expert power. Okay, expert power. When you find a person who is expert in their field, then they can influence your behavior on the basis of knowledge they are having. This is known as expert power. Knowledge is expert. Expert power is derived from possessing knowledge or expertise in a particular area. Like we are in the field of, I am in the field of finance, management and commerce. Okay, so I am having that kind of power. I can easily influence the behavior or knowledge of my students on the basis of that kind of power. This is expert power in a particular area. The third one is a referent power. Okay, this is a referent powers. Okay, so sometime, so in the last line it has been written, a referent power arises from charisma, as the charismatic person influences others via admirations, respect and trust others have for her. Okay, so in the organization you would have seen that in all your teacher there is a specific teacher named A, or it can be anything. He has a special kind of charisma, for which everybody respects him. This is called the referent power. Everybody must possess it. A referent power is derived from interpersonal relationship that a person cultivates with the other people in the organization. So this arises from your charisma. This is known as a referent power. The fourth one is coercive power. When you have ability to influence other via way of threats, punishments and sanctions. Okay, so when you have that kind of power, this is known as coercive power. This is forceful power. Forceful power, when you can use your force. Coercion, and on the basis of your coercion you can make anyone do anything for you. This is known as coercive power. This is the fourth one to understand. Last one is a reward power. When you have the ability to influence the behavior of others on the basis of giving rewards like salary increment, positive appraisals and promotions. If you have that kind of powers, like sometimes managers are given powers so that if some of their workers are working well in the organization, they can promote their workers by just signing on their promotion letters. So that kind of power is known as reward power. So I think I have given you the complete information regarding power and its type. Its theoretical base or roots were established by Max Weber, and after that these two people like French and Raven have given the information regarding the different types of power, which were legitimate, expert, referent, coercive and reward power. I think one only thing is left. I think I'm not burdenizing you. You are also free, and in case you are not free, then you can leave for the next lecture. But I think we still have some time. Then we can take a very short topic. Okay, this is going to be conflict and its management. Conflict simply means when you have differences of opinion with your fellow colleague. This is called conflict in context of management. Only two topics are to go through. Okay, the first, what is conflict, that is all written here. Then it's management. I shall tell you strategies of how to manage it. Conflict management is the principle that conflicts cannot be necessarily be resolved, but learning how to manage can decrease the odds of non-productive escalations. Okay, so this just involves skills relating to conflict resolution, self-awareness of conflict modes, conflict communication skills, and establishing a structure for managing of a conflict in your environment. So this is all about a conflict. If we are going to through the definition of a conflict only, that just means when you have a difference of opinion with the or any other organizational personality, this is called conflict. And when you know the ways or strategies to manage it, that this process is known as conflict management. So we see what is there in conflict management. Okay, this man, Robert S. Blake and S. J. Moulton has given a specific theory which is named as management of a conflict, and they have given 5 styles of managing the organizational conflict. Okay, and they have given the theories in a very great manner. Okay, the first way is forcing, second withdrawing, then smoothing, then compromising, then problem solving. They told 5 ways of how the organization conflict can be managed, and I'm going to tell you all in this specific picture. Okay, so this is all about that. Okay, so the first is you can avoid, you can accommodate, you can collaborate, you can compromise, and you can compete. These are the 5 ways by which you can manage your conflict. Okay, how to read this? Assertive and non-cooperative. Assertive and non-cooperation leads to competition. Non-assertion and non-cooperation leads to avoidance. Then cooperation and non-assertion leads to accommodation. Then assertion or assertiveness and cooperativeness leads to collaboration. And if we take all these 4 into consideration, like this and this as well, to some extent this as well, this is compromise. So one by one I am telling you all details. Like this is avoidance, this is the first one. This is a leave, lose or win situation. This is a non-assertive and non-cooperative situation. Okay, see, non-assertive, non-cooperative, non-assertive, non-cooperative, this leads to avoidance. Okay, avoidance, this situation is known as leave, lose or win situation for managing your conflict. This is first stage of how the conflict can be managed. Now the second one, this is accommodating. This is known as yield, lose and win situation. And I am going to tell you, you must know these names as well along with these names. So accommodating means when you accommodate, when you are non-assertive and cooperative. You are non-assertive, you do not assert anything, and you are cooperative as well. That means you are adopting the accommodative approach for management of your conflicts with everyone. Then this is competing, this is win-lose situation. When you are assertive as well, when you don't like others' opinion, and you are non-cooperative as well. In this situation, you are competing and you are having the win-lose situation. Okay, so this is competing when you are assertive and when you are non-cooperative as well. So these two leads to competition, and in that only 2 things can happen. These are win or lose. In the same way, we can see the fourth one. This is compromising. This is mini win, mini lose situation. When you are assertive as well, some cooperative as well. Some assertive, some cooperative as well. So that was compromising. Okay. So this is the reason why this has been written somewhat here. Okay. When you are somewhat assertive and somewhat cooperative, so that comes in the middle of these 2 items, then this is situation of being compromisable. So that is the fourth approach. And last one is collaborating. When you have it at the position of win-win only, like this is assertive as well, cooperative as well, but just opposite of avoiding. Okay, so this is collaboration approach. This is cooperative as well, assertive as well. You are giving your opinion as well, and in the same manner you are cooperating with others' opinion as well. This is situation of collaboration. So in this way, I think I have taught you this model in a very specific way. So all these lines are just telling you just the theoretical basis, and what do they actually mean I have already taught you in one or two lines, I think. The first name was avoidance. Its another name is leave, lose, or win situation. The second way is accommodating. This is the yield, lose, and win situation. Then this is competing, win or lose situation. Compromising, mini win, mini lose situation. Collaborating, this is win and win situation. Here both the party wins. Okay, so just keeping this specific model in your mind, if you are practicing it one or two time in your copy, then you can easily get to know what are different types of conflict management. In this way you can write. Okay, so if these two conditions are clear, this is competition. If these two conditions are clear, this is avoidance. If these two conditions are clear, this is accommodation. If these two conditions are clear, this is collaboration. And if half of these conditions are clear, this is compromise. So I think in this way I was completely able to teach you four different topics. Okay, so the first we did about group dynamics. After that I taught you regarding stress, and then I taught you regarding power, and finally I have taught you regarding conflict and its management in the organization. And that was a lot to study, and I believe that I know that you would be you would also need rest now. I also need rest. Today we have already completed five different topics regarding human resources or the organization behavior management. Only one lecture is left. I'm again telling you, maybe that's my habit. Okay, because we are very used to take 5 or 6 lectures in a day as well, and in the evening time as well. Because in my college that was the structure. I was once I was having the position of similar like that should in the in my department. So this is why the situation is there. Only one lecture is left. If we are busy, you can leave, you can see the recording. Otherwise only one lecture is there. I shall tell you what is organizational development, how there are changes in the organization system. So this is all only that. Okay, the lecture shall be taken 15 minutes from now onwards at 11 past 40 p.m. So I hope if you are not tired up and if you still have the capacity, then you can join that lecture as well. Otherwise, recorded lecture will be there. Thank you so much for joining me in this lecture.